Live stream audio check. Check 1 2. Live stream audio check. Check 1 2.
Hi, Counselor Fortini, can we test your mic? Hi, Counselor Fortini, can we test your mic?
Now?
Hi, Counselor Brar, can we test your mic?
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Counselor Santos, can we test your mic?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Hi, Counselor Fortini, can we test your mic? Stampede, man.
Can you hear me now, Testing?
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
Hi, Counselor Maderos, can we check your mic?
Hi, good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome everybody. Monday, January 19th. It is the Planning Committee meeting. I'm going to do roll call. Deputy Mayor Singh. Present. Councillor Santos.
Present.
Councillor Vincente. Present. Councillor Brar.
Present.
Councillor Keenan. Present. Councillor Maderos.
Present.
Councillor Fortini.
Present.
Councillor Tour. Present. Councillor Power. Mayor Brown is not here today. We have approval of the agenda, been moved by Councillor Keenan, do we have any additions to the agenda that weren't circulated? Sorry, Charlotte.
Thank you, Chair Pelletier. We did distribute a revised agenda this afternoon. It had the following additional items: 6.2 and added delegation number 1, 6.3 and added delegation, the presentation for delegation number 3 under 6.3, and item 6.6 and added delegation number 1.
Okay. It's been moved by Councillor Keenan. All in favor? That carries. Declaration of conflict of interest. Any members like to declare that they have conflict of interest on anything on the agenda here today? Seeing, hearing none. Our consent agenda. We have a few items that can be considered for consent. We have item 7.1, correct? The application to amend the zoning bylaw for the purpose of permit a 38-story mixed-use high-rise development with 514 residential units, approximately 842 square meters of retail gross floor area, 249 Queen Street East. That's the staff report. Yes? Okay. That is in consent. Item 7.2 is an application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw consultant Chatrath Holdings, Glen Schnarr and Associates to permit a mixed-use development consisting of a mid-rise rental building with 206 residential units and approximately 2,162 square meters of commercial gross floor area at 1466, 1478, 1490 Queen Street West, 9021 and 9025 Credit View Road, Ward 5. No holds for that. That's in consent. 8.1 is our transportation master plan. We will not be putting that into consent. We have 9.1 and 9.2 are the minutes. One of the Active Transportation Advisory Committee, and 9.2 is the minutes of Brampton Heritage Board. Anybody holding those? Seeing none, those are in consent. 9192. Okay, we'll go back to the statutory public meetings. I'll go through the list of statutory public meetings. If there are some that are on the agenda here today, but you're not here for them, we can adjourn those and we can carry on to the ones that you're here for. So I'll call out which ones they are. If you'd like to hear a staff report on that item that I call out, just raise your hand and we'll make sure that we get the correct staff person up to do the presentation. Our first item is an application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw. Oh, sorry, we have first general delegation from Gurpreet Singh Rai for signage for commercial buildings. We have them here? Okay, apologies, that's the first item before I get into the public meetings. So Gurpreet, are you there? Are they on? Do you see them? You do see them? Gurpreet, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm here today because myself included, but other residents of Brampton have a concern about commercial units on second and third floors and above. The way the bylaw currently is with the city of Brampton is quite restrictive. So second floor units are not permitted to put wall signage above their units like first floor units are. And so, I've heard this not just with myself, but many other people, that there should be some sort of wall signage allowance for second and third floor units and above. Yeah, so, I'm open to hearing if City of Brampton can amend the bylaw in any way to allow this to work.
Thank you very much for your delegation. I have Deputy Mayor Singh on the board.
Yeah, I think we all think different things, so maybe we'll get a staff report and see what,
Through the chair, through to you, through the deputy, what I might suggest is that the delegation, or the delegate rather, work with staff, introduce the topic to staff, and then staff can inform the ward councillors what the request is in relation to the bylaw. Oftentimes with wall signs on the second floor, rationale for restricting them in the bylaw is to ensure that the overall design and aesthetics of the building is maintained per their approved site plan. Allowing wall signs on the second floor can sometimes, over time, become an enforcement issue and whatnot. So I think it would be appropriate just to refer this matter to staff. Staff to work with the applicant to see what can be done and then report back accordingly.
yeah, so I'll put the referral.
Okay, if I can help, maybe we can refer this delegation to staff to fix this issue, and then in future,
Look at it, yeah.
bring something back to council, but not directly related to this, but let's
Signage, yeah.
refer this to staff and work with the area councilors and fix this issue first, okay? Been moved by Deputy Mayor Singh, referral back to staff, and then a future staff report on signs above the first units. All in favor? That carries. Now we have application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw, CanDefCon Group Massey Place, Inc., to permit the development of 34-story mixed-use residential building with retail and commercial uses at grade in a 3-story office building. Location is 0 Ebenezer Road, northwest corner McVean Drive and Queen Street East on Ebenezer Road, Ward 8. We do have a delegation on this. And is there people here to hear the presentation on this one? Yes, there is. Okay. The other item is item 6.2, an application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw, KLM Partners for Firstside Estates, Inc., to facilitate the development of an 18-story building, a residential apartment building consisting of 132 dwelling units and 2 level of underground garage at 8840 the Gore Road, Ward 8. Anybody in attendance that would like to hear a staff presentation on this item? Anybody in attendance like to hear? That item is adjourned. Along with the correspondence will be received. Our next item, 6.3, application to amend the official plan, Daniel Walker Doan, Sunil Markham, Inc., permit development that consists of 4 towers ranging between 23 to 45 stories and 2 5-story mid-rise buildings at 2 County Court Boulevard, Ward 3. We have delegations on this, so that one will be held. The next item is 6.4, application to amend the official plan and zoning bylaw, Daniel Walker Doans, 1986096 Ontario, Inc., to permit the development of an 8-story hotel building at 126 Nelson Street West, Ward 1. Anybody in attendance that would like to hear a staff presentation on that item? Yes, there is. Okay. 6.5, application to amend the official plan, AVM Development, Queen Street West, which is the KLM Planning Partners, Inc., to amend Schedule SP 12B of the Credit Valley Secondary Plan to redesignate the lands from woodland, subject to further study, and low-medium density residential to low-medium density residential and medium-density residential at 1684 Queen Street West, Ward 5. Anybody in attendance that would like to hear the staff report on that item? Anybody? Seeing none, that item is adjourned. 6.5, along with the delegation from the consultants. Item 6.6, an application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw draft plan of subdivision. The consultant is West Humber River Developments, Boston Group Genesis. The purpose to facilitate the development of 719 residential units consisting of a single detached townhouse and medium density blocks. The proposal also includes 3 public park blocks, 2 places of worship blocks, 3 stormwater management pond blocks, natural heritage feature blocks, and a public road network. Location at 10309-10434 McVean Drive. Anybody here like to hear? Yes, we do. Okay, thank you. Item 6.7 is application to amend the zoning bylaw 2832948 Ontario, Inc., Foten Planning and Design. Purpose to facilitate the development of an industrial building, warehouse building with accessory truck and trailer storage. The application also proposes a temporary use zoning bylaw to permit standalone outdoor storage of oversized motor vehicles on the subject property, 10590 Highway 50. Anybody here like to hear a presentation on that item? Anybody in attendance that like to hear a presentation on that item? Seeing none, that item is adjourned. 7.1 is consent. That's all the public meetings, right, Madam Clerk? Okay. We will now go back to the very first one, which is the application to amend the official plan and zoning bylaw, Candevcon Group, Massey Place, Inc., item 6.1, to permit the development of 34-story mixed-use residential buildings with a retail and commercial uses at grade in a 3-story office building at 0 Ebenezer Road Northwest, corner of McVean Drive and Queen Street East on Ebenezer Road. Our presentation will be Nitika. Nitika, come on up. And just so everybody knows that these public meeting portions are for you only. They're not for us. They're for you. No member of council will ask any questions. They can seek clarification, but chances are They're not gonna put their name on the board, and I won't acknowledge them because these presentations are for the public and the public only. When it's our turn to debate and talk about and ask questions is after all of the staff have all of the relative studies, all of the work the applicants have to provide, and they scrutinize and they look at it to make sure that it's good. They give it to us to read. That's when we debate the issue and decide whether we want to approve or not approve. So just to let everybody know, I will not allow any talking. I'd also remind everybody to take out your phones, myself included, and to make sure that your phones are on silent, please. If your phone does go off during any presentations, I'm gonna give you a look, and it's not gonna be a nice look, but if it goes off again, I'm gonna ask you to leave. Okay? With that, we'll start the presentations. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Hello. Okay. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, members of the public, and city colleagues. My name is Natika Jagtiani, and I'm the planner assigned to process and review the subject application. The purpose of the public meeting is to provide information to the public and seek feedback on the application filed by KendevCon Group, Inc. on behalf of Massey Place, Inc. Next slide, please. The subject property is located in Ward 8 and is legally described as Lot 5, Concession 8 in the city of Brampton within the region of Peel. For the purpose of this application, the municipal address I'll refer to through this presentation is 0 Ebenezer Road. The subject site is a triangular piece located on the northwest corner of McQueen Drive and Queen Street East. Next slide, please. This map shows an overview of the subject site with the property and the surrounding land uses. To the north is Ebenezer Road, beyond which consists of rural estate lots and the Clairville Conservation Area. To the south is Queen Street East, beyond which is Clairville Conservation Area and Clairville Ranch. Immediately east of McQueen Drive is a vacant lot which has received Planning Act approvals for the mixed-use development. Open space, floodplain, and lands containing natural heritage features are to the west. Next slide, please. The following shows an aerial satellite image of the subject site. The subject lands front onto Ebenezer Road to the north, with McQueen Drive to the east and Queen Street to the south. Next slide, please. A site visit was conducted on December 4th, 2025. The above pictures represent the current site conditions, which is currently vacant. Next slide, please. Here are a few more photos from the site visit representing the current conditions. Next slide, please. The applicant has submitted a proposal to amend the official plan, secondary plan, and a zoning bylaw to facilitate the redevelopment of the subject site for a 34-story mixed-use high-density building with retail and commercial uses at grade and a 3-story office building, and a public road to facilitate the development. Further details are listed on the screen. Net site area of 0.97 hectares or 2.49 acres, gross floor area of 44,066 square meters and 474,000 square feet, of which residential and retail components are as follows: 39,000 square meters approximately, or 426,000 square feet for residential, and 4,485 square meters or 48,000 square feet for retail. The floor space index is 4.54, lot coverage is 36.38. The main tower is 34 stories with an 8-story podium and a 3-story office and commercial building. This will create 444 residential units, including studio 1 and 2 bedroom, 2 and 3 bedroom units. Indoor and outdoor amenity space, 2,463 square meters. This will create 2 levels of underground parking and surface parking, which will be 533 vehicular spaces, of which 444 will be for residential uses, 89 for visitors, 150 for retail or commercial spaces, and will also have 275 bicycle spaces. Next slide, please. This slide reflects the architectural rendering for the proposed development. Next slide, please. Prior to finalizing recommendation and advancing associated final report to council, this development application will be further evaluated for compliance with the Planning Act as amended, consistency with the provincial policy statement, conformity to the City of Brampton official plan, and Bram East secondary plan. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated residential within the City of Brampton's official plan, where Queen Street is a primary intensification corridor which permits a mix of uses including those listed on the screen. An amendment to the official plan is required to facilitate the development. Next slide, please. On June 6, 2024, Brampton Plan came into effect except for those policies and sections under appeal. The subject site is designated community areas, support corridor, secondary urban boulevard, and is within a planned major transit station area within Schedule 1A of the Brampton Plan. It's also designated mixed use within Schedule 2 of the Brampton Plan. Please note that Schedule 2 of the Brampton Plan is under appeal. Next slide, please. As stated earlier, the subject lands are designated neighborhoods within the Schedule 2 of the Brampton Plan. The applicant is proposing to redesignate the subject lands from neighborhood to mixed use to facilitate the proposed mixed-use high-rise office development. Please note that Schedule 2 is currently under appeal. Next slide, please. The subject lands are within the Bram East Secondary Plan and are designated Mixed Commercial Industrial and Special Policy Area 1. An amendment to the secondary plan is required to facilitate the proposed development. Next slide, please. As stated earlier, the subject lands are within the Bram East Secondary Plan. The applicant is proposing to redesignate the subject lands from Special Policy Area 1 Office to Special Policy Area Mixed Use High Density Office to facilitate the proposed development. Next slide, please. The subject lands are zoned agricultural. Land use permissions include, but are not limited to, agricultural purposes, limited non-agricultural purposes, including single detached dwellings, support housing, residences, cemetery, animal hospital, kennel, home occupation, and also purposes accessory to other permitted uses. An amendment to the zoning bylaw will be required to facilitate the development. Next slide, please. The applicant proposes to amend the zoning bylaw from the current agricultural A zone to residential apartment and office commercial with special sections. The applicant proposes site-specific amendments to allow for the proposed development within residential units and commercial retail uses at grade within the proposed zone. Next slide, please. This slide shows the proposed architectural rendering of the development. Key concerns include transition to existing low-density residential neighborhood, ensuring appropriate height transition and building setbacks are implemented through the zoning bylaw amendment process, increase in density and traffic on Ebenezer Road and Queen Street due to the proposed development, right-in and right-out access concerns on Ebenezer Road. Matters such as servicing, wind, shadowing, etc. are to be deemed appropriate for the development through the site plan process. Next slide, please. Staff is hosting a statutory public meeting this evening to share information on the proposed amendment to the official plan, secondary plan, and zoning bylaw on the subject site and provide an opportunity for members of the public to express comments, perspectives, and opinion. Staff will continue to review the applicant's planning rationale and support plans, drawings, and technical concerns. Staff will advance a final recommendation report for council decision in the future based on the details of the proposed development and applicable planning laws and policies while incorporating comments and considerations of community members, technical reviewers, and other stakeholders. Staff will also follow up with members of the public and other stakeholders who have spoken, written in, or advised of an interest in monitoring the proposal. Next slide, please. For more information on the proposed development, the applicant's submission materials, including architectural plans, drawings, and other supporting studies, are publicly accessible through the city's Bram Plan online portal. Please type the file number of the application in the required field, which in this case is OZS 2025-0041. This brings up the file page where by clicking the file info tab, you will be able to review all the drawings documents associated with the development application. Next slide, please. This meeting's presentation will be available The public meeting presentation will be available online as part of the Planning and Development Committee meeting minutes shortly. The final recommendation report will be posted on the city's PDC meeting agenda in advance of the future meeting. For any questions or comments about this application, please contact myself, my manager, or the applicant, Maria Jones from Kendevcon Group, Inc., who is representing the owner, Massey Place, Inc. The corresponding contact info is shown on the screen. That concludes my presentation. Hope you all have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fantastic job. I'll next call up Paul Mann on behalf of 265-2367 Ontario, Inc. Is Paul on, I don't see him in chambers. Is Paul on, is here virtually? No Paul? Okay. Anybody like to come down and delegate on this item? Ask any questions of staff or anything? Seeing none. Be moved to receipt of, by Councillor Power, the staff presentation and the correspondence. All in favor? That carries. Do we have quorum? 2, 3, 4. Yep. Our next item is it 6.3, Madam Clerk? 6.3, application to amend the official plan, Gagnon Walker Dones to Neil Markham, Inc. Purpose to permit the development that consists of 4 towers ranging between 23 to 45 stories and 2 5-story mid-rise buildings. Location 2 County Court Boulevard, Ward 3. Nicole is here to present to the public. We have a few delegations. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here all day.
Okay. Good evening, members of committee, the public, and city staff. My name is Nicole Hansen, and I'm the planner assigned to process and review the subject application. The purpose of the public meeting is to provide information to the public and seek feedback on the application filed by Gagnon Walker Dones on behalf of Neil Markham, Inc. Next slide, please. The subject property is located in Ward 3, municipally known as 2 County Court Boulevard. The property is located east of Hurontario Street, north of County Court Boulevard, and west of Turtle Creek Boulevard. Next slide, please. The surrounding land uses are described as the following. To the north, we have townhouses and commercial buildings. To the south, the provincial courthouse and commercial buildings. To the east, single detached dwellings framed by 2 golf courses. And to the west, Peel Regional Police Services and surrounding commercial buildings. Next slide, please. The site currently consists of a single-story commercial building and a 4-story office building. The property fronts onto the Hurontario main corridor, which is envisioned to be a sustainable mixed-use corridor supported by the Hurontario Light Rail Transit, also known as the LRT. Next slide, please. A site visit was conducted on December 5th, 2025, and these are the conditions of the site visit. Next slide, please. The proposed official plan amendment is to facilitate a mixed-use development consisting of 4 towers ranging from 23 to 45 stories in height, oriented along Hurontario Street, and 2 5-story residential mid-rise buildings oriented along Turtle Creek Boulevard. Development for the site is set to occur in 2 phases and will incrementally introduce new residential, commercial, and some office. Next slide, please. The following is a summary of the proposal. The lot area is 2.17 hectares. The total floor area is 126,387 square meters. The total number of buildings is 6. The total number of residential units is 1,610 units. Floor space index is 5.88. Next slide, please. Prior to finalizing recommendations to Council, this application will be further evaluated for consistency with the Planning Act, provincial policy statement, and conformity with the City of Brampton official plan, Brampton Plan, and Hurontario Main Corridor Secondary Plan. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated office within the City of Brampton official plan, which permits office, hotels, motels, and other accessory commercial uses. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated as mixed use 2 under the Hurontario Main Corridor Secondary Plan. Therefore, an amendment to the secondary plan is required. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated as mixed use employment within the Brampton Plan. Therefore, an amendment to the Brampton Plan is required. Next slide. The subject property is zoned commercial 1, special section 2579, where an amendment to the zoning bylaw is required. Next slide, please. The applicant is proposing an amendment to the zoning bylaw to permit, the official plan to permit a site-specific mixed zone. Sorry, I'm going to take that back. The applicant is proposing an amendment to the zoning bylaw to permit a site-specific mixed zone which reflects the development, and also an official plan amendment. Next slide, please. In terms of where we are in the planning process, the application was filed with the city and deemed complete on October 27th, 2025. The application was circulated to commenting departments and agencies. Staff will continue to review the application, including review and comments from the public and technical comments. Issues raised will be addressed in the recommendation report and advance a final recommendation report to council for a decision. Staff will contact and follow up with those residents who have spoken, written in, or advised an interest in monitoring this proposal. Next slide, please. Preliminary issues of the application are regarding an increase in employment uses, scale and compatibility of the development within the existing neighborhood, proposed density, and building heights. The aforementioned and other issues and considerations raised will be addressed in a future recommendation report. Next slide, please. The development application can be accessed by the public through BramPlan Online. Next slide, please. The presentation will be available online shortly. Once again, my name is Nicole Hansen. My contact information is posted on the screen along with the contact of the applicant, which is Nikhil Dwan from Gagnon Walker Domes, who's representing the landowner, Sonil Markham. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself, my manager, or the applicant. Thank you kindly for listening in tonight, and have a great evening.
Thanks, Nicole. Great job. We'll go to delegations. We have Anish Kumar Nayar, Brampton residents. Anish, is Anish here? Anish online?
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. I am a resident of the Turtle Creek Boulevard, and I have raised my concern via email when I saw the notice for the city. The area is already under stress because of existing traffic conditions, which is already there. We are experiencing that in this particular piece of land, we have already lot of constraint on the public transit, waterway systems and emergency services. So my concern is with 1,600 units coming into this area over a period of next few years will put a lot of strain on the infrastructure, and the vicinity of the area will be more of a, like the openness what we wanted, and the residents of this area and my neighbors and all we were discussing, we are feeling like it will be affecting our privacy as well because of a huge buildings which will be coming up there. And considering the scale and the density of these 4 condo buildings, I feel that the area is, and the surrounding neighborhood is not very much ready to accept this kind of congestion. That's all, Mike.
Thank you very much for your delegation. Our next delegation is an audio from Vera Davis. Is it audio recording?
Concerns about the proposed development at 2 County Court Boulevard extend well beyond nearby residents. When proceedings were initiated by the developer Sunil Markham Incorporated before the Ontario Land Tribunal, the City of Brampton itself raised several concerns. Please note that the application was advanced before all required studies had been completed and submitted. Among the most significant questions raised was whether the proposed development is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. A development of this scale is inconsistent with the existing character of the area. Traffic studies were conducted prior to and during the pandemic, raising serious concerns about their accuracy and relevance under current conditions. Shadow studies demonstrate that nearby private residential properties would experience insufficient sunlight from early fall well into the winter months. Wind studies focus narrowly on pedestrian impacts within the site while failing to adequately assess effects on surrounding homes and the local environment. Public meetings are a mandatory part of the planning process, yet the concerns raised by residents during the first public meeting in March of 2023 remain unresolved. Existing neighborhood challenges, such as the approval of up to 4 basement apartments in homes originally designed and sold as single-family dwellings, have already placed significant strain on local infrastructure, parking, and frankly, quality of life. It is difficult to accept that a mixed-use development consisting of 4 towers ranging from 23 to 45 stories, along with 2 5-story buildings totaling 1,610 residential units plus office and commercial space would not drastically alter the character of the neighborhood and further compound these ongoing issues. This is one of many developments being proposed in our neighborhood, and each new project adds to the strain on our streets, services, and sense of community. I encourage the City of Brampton to consider the impact of this development on existing residents and to ensure that growth in the City of Brampton supports rather than diminishes our neighborhood's quality of life.
Thanks so much for the audio. Our next is Richard Domes. Richard, are you wanting to delegate? Great, thanks. Come on right now, Richard. Go ahead, you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, committee. Richard Domes, planner and principal at GWD. We're planning consultant to Sunil Markham Inc. By way of background and as expressed in the various delegations, my clients previously submitted a rezoning application in November of 2022 to permit the phase redevelopment of the subject site for a mixed-use transit-oriented development consisting of residential, retail, and office uses. The initial ZBA was presented at a statutory public meeting in March in 2023 and is currently under appeal at the OLT. In September of 2025, my client submitted an OPA to amend the Brampton Official Plan and Huron-Ontario Main Corridor Secondary Plan in response to City of Brampton comments following the initial submission. The purpose of the OPA is to amend the secondary plan to redesignate the site Mixed Use 1 and add a site-specific policy area to permit the proposal and to include minimum non-residential floor space requirements. To be clear, office, retail, residential uses are permitted in the current designation of the secondary plan. The OPA also proposes to remove the subject site from an employment area designation in the City of Brampton Official Plan and the Peel Official Plan, which is now an official plan of the City of Brampton in accordance with the Planning Act and the 2024 PPS. Details in the city's presentation highlight the initial OPA and ZBA submissions. However, in December of 2025, the OPA and the ZBA applications were revised in response to City of Brampton comments. From a high-level site plan perspective, the December 2025 submission included the reduction of the height of Tower D, which is the northerly tower on your screen, which is to the left, from 23 to 20 stories, The splitting of mid-rise building F located along Turtle Creek to accommodate the city's request for to maintain access at the intersection of Inverary Drive and Turtle Creek Boulevard. The removal of a mid-block vehicular driveway along Hurontario, a 3-meter road widening along Hurontario Street, and an increase in employment generating uses. Next slide, please. On a more detailed level, the table located on your screen now identifies revisions made to the proposal as part of the December 2025 resubmission. Notable revisions to Sunny's mixed-use redevelopment proposal include, but are not limited to, a decrease to the Tower D building height from 23 to 20 stories, a decrease to the total number of residential dwelling units from 1,610 units to 1,556 units, inclusive of 5 live-work units, increase to the total office gross floor area to 76,596 square feet, an increase to the total retail gross floor area to 31,183 square feet, an increase to the minimum building setback along Hurontario Street to 1.5 meters, a decrease to the maximum podium height along Hurontario Street from 7 stories to 6 stories, an increase to the minimum tower setbacks along the base building podium, a decrease to the tall building tower floor plates to 800 square meters, an increase to indoor and outdoor amenity areas, a decrease to total on-site parking, and an increase of bike parking, the addition of short-term parking spaces internal to the development, in coordination with Metrolinx's Hurontario LRT streetscape designs. Next slide, please. The following slide provides a larger depiction of the revised proposal submitted in December of 2025. Next slide, please. This slide shows the revised ground floor plan, which identifies the 31,183 square feet of retail commercial along Hurontario Street in pink hatching. The blue hatching on your screen represents the office lobby at the intersection of Hurontario and County Court, along with the ground floor office uses that are envisaged along County Court Boulevard within the newly proposed live-work units in New Building G. As a result of the removal of the mid-block vehicular driveway along Hurontario, a new mid-block connection is facilitated that will include pedestrian linkage between Hurontario and Turtle Creek, as well as retail spillet areas and programmed private amenity for building residents to support local parks. Next slide. Thank you. Next slide, please. This slide identifies the typical podium level plan. Of particular note is the area hatched in blue, which represents the location of the office floor space below Tower A, oriented at the intersection of Hurontario and County Court. As noted, the revised proposal contemplates 76,596 square feet of office, which is an increase to existing conditions in the initial proposal. The implementing amendments proposed with the applications recommend a minimum non-residential floor space requirement as opposed to a maximum to provide flexibility for this development proposal to provide more non-residential space in the future if the market supports it. Next slide, please. This slide shows the slender floor plates along Hurontario Street, which are now reduced to 800 square meters. All towers are separated by a minimum of 30 meters tower to tower. And Tower D, which is on the left, is set back between 20.2 to 23.8 meters from the north property line. And the following slides show the conceptual elevations from Hurontario Creek on the left, Turtle Creek on the right, and the next slide from the south elevation along County Court and the north elevation lot line. And the last slide shows the articulated podium at street level from Hurontario Street, as well as representative images of the streetscape along Hurontario. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Richard. There are no questions. Anybody else like to come down and ask any questions on anything with respect? Yeah, come on down. No, just wait. You have to come down here. You have to state your name for the record, please. Welcome. You have 5 minutes. Please state your name for the record.
Thank you. My name is Brian Clark. I live at 93 Stornwood Court, which if you look at your appendixes there, Appendix 2 and 1, you'll see where Stornwood Court is located, particularly Appendix 1 points it out. The gentleman just spoke a few moments ago did not mention something that's very important, I believe, to us citizens who live in the area, obviously. Conceptually, it sounds nice on paper. But if you go to the corner of Hurontario and County Court Boulevard, you have right there the courthouse, which on a daily basis has probably 500 to 600 cars there. Caddy corner, across the street, is the police station. I'm sure you gentlemen know where all this is. That's another location that has many, many automobiles coming and going at all hours of day and night. It's a police station after all. Traffic exiting from the courthouse comes out onto County Court Boulevard. The proposal, as I hear from this gentleman, says, and I quote, there are two exits, one going to County Court Boulevard and one onto Here, Ontario. Logically, if you go out into Here, Ontario Street, you can't possibly go south, you can only go north. So everybody exiting from these 1,700 units, sorry, 1,600 units, 1,783 cars, can only go north because they can't go across the LRT line. So, all those cars, 1,700 cars, picture 8 o'clock in the morning, cars exiting the building, where are they going to go? They can only go north when they want to go south. If they want to go south, they come out to County Court Boulevard. The courthouse is right there. Cars already coming and going in there by dozens in the morning. You're going to have a horrible, horrible traffic situation. 1,700 cars, people trying to get home at all hours of the day and night, and police cars coming and going from across the street, as I mentioned. In total, if you were to look at the picture, you're probably looking at 3,000 to 4,000 cars minimum coming and going at that one corner, County Court Boulevard and Here, Ontario. How are these people going to get to and from work? It will be a horror show. It's already busy there, gentlemen. Go out there in the morning and have a look. It's going to be a catastrophe, not to mention the aesthetics, which somebody pointed out a few minutes ago about houses being blocked for sunlight and so on and so forth. That I understand. Not very appealing, as you can appreciate, if you can't see the sun. However, that's a secondary concern. My concern is simply the citizens who live in the area who are already, as it were pointed out in the earlier, if you will, representation, that there was going to be a problem. And I'm just simply going to tell you how compounding it's going to be as you throw 1,700 more cars in there and say, 8 o'clock, everybody, let's go to work. So people in the council chamber are looking at your voters and saying, well, it will be what it will be. And I suggest to you it will be a mess of large scope. And once it's done, it's too late. So that's my principal concern. And that I think it makes a lot of sense. Take a look at the picture. There are 4 corners involved here, and every one of them is busy. Busy. That's my information.
Thank you for your delegation. Just a reminder that no member of council going to go on the board and ask any questions, can't speak to it. And I would request the residents contact their area councilors, Councilor Keenan, Councilor Medeiros, along with, now that you are on record, when the staff report does come forward, I'll wait on that and just ask, is there anybody else that wants to come down and delegate? Seeing none. If you are on record or if you want to send in any correspondence, that will automatically trigger us to provide you with any information. When that report is coming out, you will be notified. Okay. There are no other questions then. Correspondence be received. Councillor Keenan will move receipt of the correspondence and delegations and item report. All in favor? That carries. Next item, 6.4, public meeting, application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw consultant, Danielle Walker-Domes, 1986096 Ontario Inc. to permit the development of an 8-story hotel building at 126 Nelson Street West, Ward 1. Staff presentation by Ellis Lewis. Ellis, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of committee, members of the public, and staff, city staff colleagues. My name is Ellis Lewis, and I am the planner tasked with reviewing and processing application number OZS 2025-0044. The purpose of this public meeting is to provide information to the public and seek feedback about the application that was filed by Gagnon Walker-Domes Limited on behalf of 1986096 Ontario Inc. Next slide, please. The subject property is located in Ward 1 at 126 Nelson Street West. The subject site is located north of Nelson Street West and just west of McMurtry Avenue North. Next slide, please. This slide provides information regarding the surrounding land uses. To the north is existing residential land uses, including street townhouses and mid-rise apartment buildings north of Denison Avenue. To the south is existing industrial and Queen Street West, beyond which are existing residential and commercial land uses. To the east is existing commercial and residential land uses. To the west is existing industrial commercial uses. Next slide, please. This slide provides information regarding the subject land at a broader scale, displaying additional surrounding land uses and development. Next slide, please. A site visit was conducted on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Pictures were taken during the site visit and have been included in this presentation, with a viewpoint of the subject site looking north from the Nelson Street West, looking west towards the intersection of Nelson Street West and Haggard Avenue North, looking from the southern boundary of the subject site towards Queen Street West, and looking east towards the intersection of Nelson Street West and McMurtry Avenue North. Next slide, please. The development application was submitted to propose an official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment to facilitate the construction of an 8-story hotel with 153 rooms and an associated banquet hall and offices. The proposal includes 134 parking spaces and 2 surface accessible parking spaces. Some further details surrounding the application include a gross site area of 0.27 hectares, building height of 8 stories with 153 hotel rooms, gross floor area of 14,246 square meters, a floor space index of 5.2, building coverage of 36%. In regard to the commercial and public area, there is 599 square meters of indoor space. There's 97 square meters of outdoor space. In regard to the parking supply, there are 136 vehicular parking spaces, 8 accessible spaces, and 1 loading space. Next slide, please. Prior to finalizing a recommendation to council, the application will be further evaluated for consistency with the Planning Act, Provincial Planning Statement, the City of Brampton Planning Official Plan, Brampton Plan, as well as the Downtown Secondary Plan. Next slide, please. The official plan designates the subject property as central area as per Schedule A, General Land Use Designations. The central area designation permits a full range of office, major transit, infrastructure, retail, and service activities, a variety of residential uses, entertainment and cultural uses, government, institutional, and community facilities, amongst other uses. The proposed development falls within uses that are permitted as an amendment to the official plan, is not required to remove the land from the central area designation to facilitate the development. Next slide, please. On November 1st, 2023, Brampton Council adopted the City of Brampton's new official plan entitled Brampton Plan. The Brampton Plan provides clear direction and provides provide principles to guide city building, including its vision in the future to support the development of a vibrant city. The subject site is designated mixed use within Schedule 2 designations of the Brampton Plan, and amendment to the Brampton Plan will not be required to facilitate the proposed development. Next slide, please. The subject property is designated medium density within the Downtown Secondary Plan. Residential uses associated with this designation include block townhouses, street townhouses, quadruplexes, and interlot housing types. An amendment to the secondary plan is required to permit the proposed development. Next slide, please. The subject site is zoned industrial. Permitted uses in the industrial zone include, but are not limited to, the manufacturing, cleaning, packaging, processing, repairing, or assembly of goods, foods, or materials within an enclosed building, including a motor vehicle repair shop, a printing establishment, a warehouse, a parking lot, and accessory structure. Permitted industrial uses in the industrial zone include but are not limited to a community club, an animal hospital, and a furniture and appliance store. A zoning bylaw amendment is required to facilitate the development of the hotel. Next slide, please. The applicant plans to amend the secondary plan to redesignate the subject site from medium-density residential to central area mixed use within the downtown secondary plan. An amendment has been provided for the city's review, as summary of the proposed regulations has been included on this slide. Next slide, please. The applicant plans to amend the zoning bylaw to rezone the subject site from Industrial 1 to Industrial 1 Special Section. A bylaw amendment has been provided for the city's review. A summary of the proposed regulations has been included on this slide. The proposed zoning bylaw amendment will accommodate the creation of the 8-story hotel. Next slide, please. Planning has noted some key considerations and issues in relation to the development application. Land use and built form considerations include compatibility within the Brampton GO primary major transit station area, the MTSA, and surrounding area, which include commercial and residential properties. Appropriateness of the lot dimensions and building performance standards. The appropriateness of an 8-story building adjacent to medium-density dwellings. Concerns regarding privacy, shadowing, and massing impacts. Construction impact considerations include noise, traffic, and construction activity will include impact on the existing community, site servicing such as water, sewer, stormwater to be deemed to be adequate for the development of the area. Ensuring the redevelopment potential of neighboring lands that are located within proximity are not unreasonably impacted based on this proposed development. Next slide, please. Staff are holding a statutory public meeting to share information regarding the official plan amendment and the zoning bylaw amendment, and giving the public the opportunity to share concerns, perspectives, and opinions regarding the application. The application was filed with the city and circulated to internal and external departments and agencies for comments, bringing us to today for the public meeting. The following steps will include continuing the review of the planning, rationale, drawings, plans, and technical comments, and staff will advance a recommendation report to council based on the development, applicable planning policies, and considerations from members of the public, technical reviewers, and stakeholders. Staff will follow up with residents who have spoken, written, or advised monitoring of the application as it moves forward. Next slide, please. The development application can be accessed by the public through Brown Plan Online. Through the Brown Plan website, community members can click, search for an application, type in the associated file number for this application. It will be OZS 2025-0044. This will bring up the file page, and by clicking the File Info tab, users can gain access to drawings, plans, and studies related to this application. The final recommendation report will also be posted on the PDC meeting website in advance of the meeting. Next slide, please. This presentation will be available for you shortly after this meeting has concluded. Once again, my name is Ellis Lewis, and my contact information is posted on the screen here, along with the applicant, Michelle Harris from Gagnon and Walker Domes Limited, who is representing 1986096 Ontario Inc. If you have any questions, please contact myself or the applicant. Next slide, please. This concludes my presentation. Thank you all, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Alice. Anybody like to come down and delegate on this item? Anybody have any questions for Ellis or anybody in our staff? Seeing none. It has been moved by Councilor Vincente, the move receipt and the delegations, and no correspondence. All in favor? That carries. Six five is out. 652 is done. The West Humber one. 6-6. Application to amend the official plan zoning bylaw and for a draft plan of subdivision, West Humber River Developments, Inc., Boston Group, Genesis, to facilitate the development of 719 residential units consisting of single detached townhouse and medium-density blocks. The proposal also includes 3 public park blocks, 2 places of worship blocks, 3 stormwater management pond blocks, natural heritage feature blocks, and a public road network at 10309 and 10434 McVean Drive, Ward 10. We have Aphrodite here today to our strategic leader of planning to present on this item. Go ahead, Dita.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, members of the public, and city colleagues. My name is Dita. I'm the planner assigned to process and review the subject application. The purpose of this public meeting is to provide information and seek feedback from the public on the application filed by KLM Planning on behalf of West Humber River Developments, Inc. and Boston Group Genesis. Next slide, please. The subject property is located in Ward 10 at 10309 to 10434 McVean Drive. The site is located north of Castlemore Road and west of McVean Drive. Next slide, please. This slide shows an overview of the subject site and surrounding land uses. To the north is Pendergast Park and Rickman Lane, beyond which are single detached residential estate lots. To the south is the Gore Meadows Community Park West and lands in the ownership of the City of Brampton, beyond which is the Erin Oaks Kids Center. To the east is the Humber River Watershed, beyond which are lands subject to development application referred to as the Gore Meadows Community Park East Precinct Plan. And to the west is McVean Drive, beyond which are single detached residential estate lots. Next slide, please. This slide shows an aerial view of the subject property and the surrounding area. Next slide, please. This slide displays photos from a site visit conducted in December of this year. Next slide, please. The applicant has submitted an application to amend the official plan and zoning bylaw and for a draft plan of subdivision in order to facilitate the development of 719 residential units consisting of 401 single detached dwellings, 184 townhouse dwellings, and 134 medium density units. The proposal also includes 3 public park blocks, 2 place of worship blocks, 3 stormwater management pond blocks, natural heritage feature blocks, and a public road network. Site access is proposed from 2 new access points off of McVean Drive. Next slide, please. Prior to finalizing recommendations to council, this application will be further evaluated for consistency with compliance with the Planning Act, consistency with the provincial planning statement, and conformity with the City of Brampton official plan. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated residential and open space on Schedule A general land use designations in the City of Brampton official plan. The residential designation permits residential uses ranging from single detached homes to high-rise apartments. The open space designation includes public and private open space, valley lands, watercourse corridors, wetlands, and woodlands. And an amendment to the 2006 official plan is not required. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated as community areas and natural heritage system within Schedule 1A city structure and neighborhoods and natural heritage system on Schedule 2 designations of the City of Brampton Plan. An amendment to Schedule 1A and Schedule 2 of the Brampton Plan is not required. Next slide, please. The subject lands are located within the west portion of the Gore Meadows Secondary Plan area. On September 9th of 2024, the Planning and Development Committee endorsed an alternative planning process for the Gore Meadows Secondary Plan area. This process allows for the submission of 2 privately initiated official plan amendments in accordance with the precinct planning policies of the Brampton Plan. On May 16th of 2025, Council approved the recommendation report for the East Precinct located along the Gore Road. This recommendation established land use permissions and included a draft precinct plan that set out general land use framework for the entire Gore Meadows area. At that time, the lands comprising the West Precinct were presented to Council as an emerging land use framework and were not formally approved. Through this current application, the applicant is proposing to create new secondary plan policies, zoning regulations, and a final precinct plan for Council's consideration and approval. Next slide, please. The subject lands are zoned residential, rural estate, agricultural, and floodplain. Permitted uses in the agricultural zone include agricultural uses, a single detached dwelling, a home occupation, and purposes accessory to other permitted purposes. Permitted uses in the floodplain zone include flood and erosion control, conservation purposes, a public park or a golf course, and permitted uses in the residential rural estate zone include a single detached dwelling, supportive housing, residence type 1, and purposes accessory to other permitted purposes. An amendment to the zoning bylaw is required to facilitate the proposed development. Next slide, please. The applicant is proposing a number of different zones that are currently under review by staff. The plan primarily consists of single detached lots with 38 to 50 foot frontages and also includes townhouse blocks, which could consist of street townhouses, back-to-back townhouses, rear lane townhouses, and stacked townhouses. Proposed are also institutional uses, which include permissions for a public or private school, a place of worship, a day nursery, a park, playground, or recreational facility, as well as open space, which permits a recreational facility operated, licensed, leased from, or managed under an agreement with a public authority, any conservation area or purpose, only in conjunction with permitted indoor or outdoor recreational facilities, a lounge or a restaurant, and purposes accessory to other permitted purposes. Possible commercial land uses along McVean Drive are also proposed. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. This slide outlines key issues and considerations that staff have reviewed as it relates to the proposal, including the transition of built form relative to the existing residential estate land uses, the appropriateness of the location of the future public parks and lands intended for a place of worship, the appropriateness of the Gore Meadows Master Precinct Plan and associated secondary plan policies, as well as the community design guidelines, the appropriate delineation of environmentally sensitive lands, traffic impacts related to increased volumes and the appropriateness of access locations, public roads, and the future widening of McVean Drive. And lastly, potential construction-related impacts to nearby residents such as noise and dust. These issues and others that are raised today will be addressed in a future recommendation report. Next slide, please. Staff is hosting a statutory public meeting this evening to share information of the proposed application on the subject site and provide an opportunity for members of the public to express comments, perspectives, and opinions. Staff will advance a final recommendation report for council's decision in the future based on the details on the proposed development and applicable planning laws and policies, while incorporating comments and considerations from community members, technical reviewers, and stakeholders. Staff will also follow up with members of the public and other stakeholders who have spoken, written, or advised of an interest in monitoring this proposal. Next slide, please. For more information on this application, the applicant's submission materials, including architectural plans, drawings, and supporting studies, they are publicly accessible through the city's brand plan online portal. To access them, you can type in the file number, which is OZS 2025-0056 in the required field, which will then bring up the file page where by clicking the file info tab, you'll be able to view all drawings and documents associated with the application. Next slide, please. The public meeting presentation will be available online as part of the Planning and Development Committee meeting shortly. The final recommendation report will be posted on the city's PDC meeting agenda in advance of a future meeting. For any questions or comments about this official plan amendment, zoning bylaw amendment, or draft plan of subdivision, my contact information is shown on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to me or the applicant. Next slide, please. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Well done, Dita. I'll now open it up to the floor to have anybody that would like to come down and ask any questions, delegate on this item. Come on down. If anybody else would like to come down, we have a book back there that you sign your name to. You provide us with your firstborn child, and then you can come on up. I'm just kidding. It's the second. I have too many kids already. Please go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, firstly, I'm going to apologize because I'm going to start stuttering in about a minute speaking.
You take your time, and
Thank you.
You got all the time in the world. You relax and take your time, okay?
Okay, so I've been trying to be involved in the development of the subject lands because I'm actually the neighboring property at 10499 McVean Drive. We recently finished building our house there and moved in last year. So our main concern right now is in the proposal that's being done. The orange section there as medium density housing is proposed as the neighbor for me, which I think is an appropriate transition from estate residential to medium density. And this is something that was brought up back in 2019 when there was something like the meeting held at Professor's Lake and any other meetings that I've held on this topic. This has been a going concern that there should be an appropriate transition between the estate residential and any development going forward. So I'm not against the development. Honestly, I think it's needed. You can't have just farmland there forever. But I just think building townhouses or like stacked condos beside my house there isn't an appropriate development. I just don't think that's responsible thing to do there. So if that's something that could be reconsidered, anything else I'd be open to. Maybe like low density, institutional. I'm not sure. Whatever the city thinks is appropriate. But that's my main concern really at this point.
Okay, thank you. There's no considerations today.
Okay.
Okay, we'll receive everybody's correspondence and information. But then the staff will take the application and they'll look at all the studies and everything like that, and then they'll post it publicly. And you can reach out to your area counselors and talk to them as well. But because you delegated today, we will let you know when that report is coming to council for us to debate and talk about the issues.
Okay.
Okay, and then the staff report will be either a positive staff report because they met all the requirements or a negative staff report because they did not.
I see. And would there be any more things for like the public to get involved
100%,
in?
absolutely. Reach out to your area counselors, you talk to them, and they'll let you know when you can come back, and you can always delegate to council when that item comes forward.
I'll be reaching out to you, Mr. Tour.
And you have the deputy mayor.
I met him today. He's wonderful.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
Both of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your delegation. You did a great job. Anybody, Mr. Sir? Welcome. Please state your name for the
Good
record.
evening. My name is Harman Walia. I'm actually a resident of Rickman Lane, just north of where this development is going to come. My concern echoes the same the gentleman just explained. I have a couple of concerns. One is about the Rickman Lane. I own a property on a Rickman Lane, which is just culminating into this development area. So I just want to understand what is going to be the fate of that lane. Is it going to be culminating or terminating before that? It's a court right now. It's still be maintaining the court status. And the second fold is all the properties is as executive homes, and the executive homes is certainly going to be flanked by 700 or 800 houses, and so which is something being put all the properties, the executive homes, those 2-acre lots, those properties at risk, the investment risk, I mean. So that is something I just want to understand. What is the next proposal if the city is considering this as one of the areas where they would consider that as one potential risk before approving this particular development near that Rickman Lane. So pretty much on the same lines what this gentleman explained.
Yep, thank you very much for your delegation. Just again, no considerations here tonight. Once we have all the information, staff will roll through everything and make sure that they provide us with as much information as possible to make the decision.
Okay.
Thank you for your delegation. Anybody else would like to come down, say a few words? Seeing none, receipt's been moved by Councillor Tour, that the staff presentation from DDA, the application, the correspondence, no, I don't have any correspondence, delegations be received. All in favor? That carries. 7 was adjourned. 7-1. Down to 8-1. Staff report from Vikram. There's delegations on that, right? Yeah. Staff report from Vikram Hardat, Principal Planner, Supervisor, Integrated City Planning, and Richa Dave, Project Manager, Transportation Planning, Heritage Heights Transportation Master Plan. The recommendation is here. If there are any questions, I don't see any questions yet, but we do have some delegations. And we'll go straight to the delegations. I have Ron Hendricks from the Catholic Cemeteries and Funeral Services. I have David Tang, Miller Thompson LLP, and then followed by Sylvia Roberts. Ron, do you want to do it together?
No.
Okay. You still only get 5 minutes, though.
Okay,
All right.
we're fine.
Go ahead.
Evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is David Tang. I'm the solicitor for Catholic Cemeteries and Funeral Services, Archdiocese of Toronto, and Mr. Ron Hendricks from the CCFS is with me today. They own lands that are just north of Wanless Road, and we are here about the proposed Pinnacle Parkway extension that would run between Goderich Drive and Wanless Road and would basically bisect the cemetery lands into two. Our client's quite opposed to that extension, has indicated that would effectively render the cemetery plans they've actually had in place since 2000 and approximately one, when they bought the property, impossible to actually carry out. Obviously what happened in this location was the 413 interim control bylaw held them up for about 20 years. That issue has now been resolved because the 413 and the province have amended the specific taking that they intend to take to reduce as much as possible the taking of the cemetery lands so that a feasible cemetery can still be developed here. And there was a heritage, for those of you who remember, there was a Heritage Heights secondary plan. The principle of the cemetery use has been settled through that process. We all anticipate this will be used for a cemetery literally forever, because obviously once people are interred in the ground, we can't redevelop this for any other reason. The problem here is a road running through the cemetery will make it not feasible to operate. They're already very tight in terms of how much room they have to make a feasible cemetery for interring people. This will absolutely make it impossible. We're talking about a collector road with a very wide right-of-way that is being proposed here. And then secondly, frankly, you can't separate individual portions of the cemetery by running people through it. There are machines that dig up obviously excavate and then fill, and they do that, frankly, it's not randomly, but in accordance with whoever needs the services. So that's our problem. Unfortunately, the transportation management plan for Heritage Heights has not taken that into account as far as we can tell. Our consultants, our transportation engineers have indicated that there is no need for this road, they believe, if this property is in fact used as a cemetery, which we have established. And the transportation plan does not consider that at all, from what we can tell. And so there is no need demonstrated for this road, and we would be asking that the road be effectively eliminated, or at least clearly indicated that it will not be required or put into place as a result of the cemetery use. So we are asking you to recommend to council that the Heritage Heights Transportation Master Plan, as it relates to these lands and this extension of Pinnacle Parkway, be referred back to staff and to BA Consulting for further consideration of the need and appropriateness of this extension, to find ways to ensure that the cemetery can be properly used, and if necessary, supplementary reports to come back forward to deal with that and to provide that assurance of the uninterrupted cemetery use. So that's what we'll be asking for.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your delegation. This is a report that's coming to planning. I have members live, a lot of members online. So just to let everybody know, typically when we do a OP, we look at an area, we say the roads have to go somewhere. We show them in the diagrams, but obviously and they're not the only one. There are other applicants, there are other landowners that have come out to say, well, hold on a second. You have this road going through my property. I don't know where that road should go, but it shouldn't be going through, this area because I was planning on doing this. I think for us, it's just saying, there's a road network that needs to be in here, and to provide the confidence to everybody else, especially anybody that takes their time out to come and delegate to planning and to council. I think it'd be prudent for us to be able to say, you're absolutely right. We don't want to put a road through your lands. We're happy to support. We have the wording baked into the LPAT resolution and the terminology within the transportation master plan. But further to that, happy to send your delegation to staff to come up with some wording that certainly helps support what you're here asking for of us today. So happy to do that. Happy to refer that to staff. If staff have any comments, my only comment is that land currently zoned permitted use for cemetery?
Yeah, through the chair, the land's zoned agricultural right now.
Yeah.
And in the agricultural zoning, there are different uses. I'd have to check to see what the site-specific zoning for this property is, but maybe just to your earlier point, to give maybe some comfort to the delegate, the recommendations that council has before them today, one of them, recommendation 3, that's presumably if council were to endorse these recommendations and then the minutes get ratified at the next council meeting, after that, staff would issue a notice of study completion. That notice is available to any landowner to comment on this transportation master plan for 30 days. That would be the venue in which we could then sit down with the delegate or any other landowner, formalize things even further by putting in either in writing what uses may or may not be permitted, and then what transportation elements may or may not be permitted. And in addition to that, as you indicated, Councillor Paleshi, there's a number of policies in the transportation master plan and in the staff report that give that flexibility to shift roads as precinct plans.
Okay, so Steve, and is it 21 days or 30 days?
Because the transportation master plan was done under the municipal class EA process, it's a 30-day.
It's 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and once this goes to council and council approves it within I'll approve it, subject to the comments that we get back from the 30 days. So I want to see some of those comments. I want to come back to council. That way we do have the wording that you're asking for. And I think that's a good solution, because you do want it on the record within that timeline. So happy to support that. The reason why I ask about zoning is, and the delegates, certainly have been around long enough to know this is 25 years in the process. And it was, a mayor at some point wanted to reverse at that time. And then the province stepped in and said, well, hold on, and they stopped everything. So anytime that, somebody like these gentlemen and who they represent, and for everybody within Heritage Heights that have been in there the 25 years and have gone through that process, anytime we give an opportunity to them to fast track what they're essentially wanting to do, that's what I wanted to do. So maybe that's a further conversation of some kind of advanced zoning or something to the effect to help them ultimately achieve what is going to be there forever and ever and ever. So thank you very much for your delegation. Hope that helps. Thank you. Okay. I'm sure Councillor Brar feels the same way, and I'm happy to move receipt. Oh, sorry, Sylvia, come on down. I apologize.
Hello, my name is Sylvia Roberts. I'm a resident of Brampton. I'm also a Catholic, and the lack of a Catholic cemetery in Brampton has been a long-running issue for many Catholics. So it is frustrating that the cemetery has been held up this long. I know that there's capacity issues and there's needs for long-term planning for that. I've been involved seeing the Heritage Heights secondary plan since the first phase, and I've been extensively involved in it. Overall, it's really good. Main issue is the roads running through where there's supposed to be where there needs to be a cemetery. And part of it is I don't understand why the bus rapid transit is planned to end at Beauvard. If we have a transit way running down Heritage Heights, why it doesn't connect to that, that's what, 700 meters, And then since Heritage Road is going to be the transit spine road for the community, there really should be some kind of connection from that to make it better integrated into the whole community. So there's east-west travel to the rest of that. I don't know what stage that you'd incorporate that, because a lot of this is, when is the transit way going to get built and how do you plan to accommodate for that? That may be down the road. One of the issues with the transportation master plan is not that anything that staff has done wrong. They have carried out what they're supposed to do. The challenge is transportation planning in general is we're going to assume that people in 50 years are going to work exactly the same way they did now. So in the 1950s, they would have been planning that people would have been using typewriters and the internet wasn't a thing. Email wouldn't have existed. The concept of you could have a computer in your hand and you can have a three-way call with someone in South Africa and Seoul, just pretty much inconceivable. Flying cars were more inconceivable than many of the things we have today. So what happened is, because of things like the internet, we've had mass suburbanization of office in many cases. And there are going to be other changes. With Heritage Heights, we don't know how many people are going to live there. We don't know how they're going to get around. But we're assuming that we're going to move the same way as we do now in 30 years. So my family was originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, and in San Francisco they have Waymo, autonomous taxis, and one of the things that has been found is they will significantly drive up vehicle kilometers traveled. There isn't really a way to plan for that. So while staff has put a lot of work and they have done a good job on this, according to rules in place, the reality is in 10 years, a lot of this is not going to be useful.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, so there's just huge structural issues. It isn't staff's fault, but what can you do?
Yeah, it's the future.
Yeah.
Steve?
Through the chair, through to Sylvia, certainly good comments. But I will note that based on some of the work that staff did in the recently endorsed Brampton Mobility Plan, that not only looked at traditional transportation modeling to do some predictive analytics as to what mobility would look like. Recommendation 4 in this actual staff report that council has before you speaks to some of what Sylvia spoke to, whereby prior to the adoption of every single precinct plan, staff would look at some of the transportation patterns again to try and see what the best alternatives may be. So again, we certainly can't predict the future, but through that revisitation of the master plan, every time we bring a precinct plan to council, I think might address what Sylvia is speaking.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Steve. Thanks.
There was also, one of the issues is the employment. There's no way to know if it's going to be that much, or it could be 50% less. There, a number of years ago, there was a Heritage Heights office study, and what they found is there's absolutely no way that the amount of that kind of employment was going to happen. I believe that relied upon part of HP BATS, and so things may have changed because of the 413. But when I looked at the Heritage Heights secondary plan stuff, I still wasn't quite sure how we were going to make that office work, even after spending a lot of time reading all the studies.
So it's not particular office, it's employment, and Heritage Heights is going to have the largest or the best ratio employment to residential than anywhere else in the city of Brampton. And I think it's 47, the ratio.
Through the chair, it's just over 50,000 jobs roughly. And the ratio...
Jobs to population was 47 was council's direction, or? It's roughly 50%, but it's not. Have the numbers changed?
I don't have that information right now, but I'll just turn to
47%.
staff.
That's the way it was, from my knowledge.
We can say we want that, but the question is, how do we actually deliver all of that? And
where's Councilor Tour?
and that is what I'm concerned, because if that office isn't there, then that's actually significantly more outflows and significantly changes transportation planning.
For sure.
So that has been one of the concerns. We've consistently estimated employment will be higher than is actually shown up. And there needs to be a structural review of employment and looking at things like agglomeration and drive time analyses. And I don't see those concepts mentioned, not in this, and it's just generally absent from core city documents. So I don't
That's
know
okay.
when we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Therefore, I'm happy to move this with the referral of the delegation correspondence. Receive the delegation. All in favor? That carries. We have no committee minutes, no other business, no referred matters, no general correspondence. Councilor question period. Any members have any questions on that one specific item that we just approved 30 seconds ago? Seeing none. Public question period. Any members of the public like to come down and ask any questions that relate to anything that's on the agenda here today? Seeing none? Nobody? Thank you very much. We have no closed session. We will now adjourn the meeting. Moved by Councilor Vincente. All in favor? That carries. Have a great night, everybody.